good YouTube? NeoNexudus here with Scapegoatuser. Now, this is a bit of a strange video. I usually don't do tournament reports anymore or anything like that, but me and him and a few others from our locals, I think it was about 11 of us.
3 cars worth, I know that much.
So yeah, there's 3 cars that's going up to the regionals in Rainham. There were 48 players, and this motherfucker comes 5th. I come 30th.
Hashtag salt.
So yeah, he came 5th with Monarchs. Let's just
Quantum
zoom in on
Monarchs.
them. Quantum Monarchs.
Pretty much, this is a lot better than regular Vassal Monarchs, just because you get more tribute fodder, and you also get more tribute monsters to play with. This thing, but deck prefers 17 monsters, 3 Aether, Heavenly Monarch. Obviously the best one because the tribute summon on your opponent's turn is very live. Special summon 1 from deck is also great because you've got a Pseudo Valk in the deck for the mirror match. Also, the fact that this can just let you draw, get free draws, and keep Domain up if they're using something like Perform Power Turn Toad to out the scale is actually kind of relevant. 3 Erebus because non-targeting spinning. It's basically an Ignister. So yeah, you run those.
Yeah, that shit's annoying when you get hit with that first turn.
Yeah. Also, like this taking out a hand is just. Really
yeah, that's what I'm on about. When I got hit with that, and it took shit out my hand.
Yeah, 2 Corrals. I don't know if I may bump this to a 3rd because I didn't actually see it a lot. But when you do get it out of the deck off of Aether, it's just a free +2.
Considering up until I think it was about a week before the event, you said, "Oh, I don't need Corals."
Yeah, I didn't honestly want to run it, but. It's in the Quantum build. It's actually, I think, a necessary card because it's a Valk in the mirror match, and it also allows you to interrupt, which is one of the important things the deck doesn't actually have. Is many ways to interrupt it outside of tribute summoning Erebus, because this can come out in your opponent's turn. It's kind of useful. I played Mega Caius. It was okay. It's mainly in there for the Burning Abyss matchup because you resolve this and then you can banish all their seers and stuff, which is fun. But it actually came in handy for Game Shot once. It would have been the second Game Shot in my round 6 mirror match, but we never got that far because I just skipped it out. Mega Thestalos, I honestly think is the best Mega Monarch. He is honestly really, really useful. If you have escalation, you can Erebus card out the hand, flip escalation, tribute summon. Mega Thestalos, see the hand, take a card, and then you basically win at that point. I pulled that off once. But otherwise I was just summoning him just to get hand knowledge to know whether to push with hand trap, to push through hand traps, or just taking the best cards out of the hand. Like my round 5, I took guy's Draco face off out of his hand, which is the best card in hand, and then I just won.
Surprised you didn't chain it.
I was going first.
Oh, right, gotcha.
I'm going first. 3 Edia, because it's the best Vassal. Getting Veiled really hurts, but you do need to...
Veiled says hi.
2 Eidos, this ratio of Squires is actually really relevant, because this one sucks to draw, whereas this one's really good. I mean, the additional normal summon's okay, but it's not like Evil Swarm Caster or Constellar Pollux. And then the 1-on-1 Quantum Engine. You don't need more than 1 red. Honestly, you don't. The special summon's really cool, but you can recycle it, because essentially 1 teleport gets these 2, and then the next teleport recycles the pair of them, so you don't really need that, because blue layer going back into the deck is just really strong. I think I won about 4 of my matchups because this card goes back into deck, so you can just use it to dodge things. What was the card I used it to? I used it to dodge. I think I used it to dodge a strike at one point because I've stuck this as chain link too. So you could only strike this, which he didn't. Obvious Pantheism, Tenacity. Domain, staples in the deck, but Domain is possibly the most underrated field spell, because people just see it as the extra deck effect, which, yeah, the extra deck effect's relevant. More relevant comes down to the actual level down and 800 attack gain effects, because they allow you to push through setups. If you can level down Stormforth over a Rafflesia board, then you can kill the Ignister, so you don't have to tribute the Ignister to smash the Wrath to get Bottomless.
And the best thing about it is the fact that you can just go use the effect, level down, put another one on top of it, level down, normal summon.
Yeah,
That's to get around
Fog King and Mask of Restrict, but that's you don't necessarily need to do that.
No, but it's a nice little useful trick.
It's a useful
trick. Did you actually get to use that?
I never needed to. The only time I got Mask of Restrict flipped on me, I got it flipped twice, and both times I'd either held the Twin Twisters against Paramjet, I'd held Twin Twister, and against Ben Lovell, I topped the Twin Twister when I needed it, so it wasn't actually very relevant. Best card in the mirror match is actually, ironically, Stormforth. The theory goes that he plays this first, generally loses that game, but, I mean, the whole idea is you want to keep cycling this in the Cosmo matchup as well as in the mirror, because in the mirror, having multiples in hand is just so strong.
And obviously it doesn't target, and you can tribute from their side of the field at any point.
Yeah, because you can use this plus this equals the Valk player or something.
Yeah, you just... Basically, they start making their plays, you just like flip it, and I'm just going to tribute whenever.
The way it works is you flip... They flip their own, you chain yours, reveal your Aether, Aether comes out, Aether brings out Karaz, you draw 2 cards, and then if you've got to, you basically clear your field so their Stormforth then doesn't resolve, because they have no target for it. I only ran 1 return, even with the Quantums and double Karaz, I just don't think more than 1 return is useful. Like, I can see the plays, but it contributes to bricky hands for me, and I tried to build this build not to brick as much as possible. Also, I mean, you technically run like 6 of it, and you can always just search it and reveal it off of the Pantheism. Or do the play I did a lot to actually get to this was I would send it off of one of the big Monarchs, then use like some way to get Edir integrated, and then just add it back to my hand.
Describe what you mean by you technically run 6 of it.
Well, you've got this card which counts as 1. No, it's 4 because you run 3 of this and then you run 3 of this. So this can become a copy of this via the banish effect. This can straight up search it. So you've got more than enough copies to play.
And then obviously you got a little guy that adds it back from the banish zone.
Yeah, like the play I liked doing. I did it once because it was only relevant once. But you just get this engrave and then add this back, and then you're just back in the game. In terms of getting your tributes out. Obvious 3 teleport, 3 tele for 1 target, but the 1 target goes back into your deck after you've used it, so
yeah,
it doesn't matter. You can also just keep the thing in hand because just teleporting out of hand's fairly relevant, but I never found it useful. This honestly was the reason I won some of my games, because playing telly, getting like 2 guys, then level down tribute for an Erebus is kind of a good play. 1 foolish, a lot of Quantums have cut this, but this is the reason I honestly won round 3 against Cosmo. Not my round 3. Won my round 5 because I opened a really dead hand and then was just able to foolish the Erebus, discard Pantheism, add back to hand, take it apart his hand from there. 1 for 1, standard, Brosis, standard. 4 traps, 3 prime. The actual first effect is really relevant. I disagree with people who run 2. Even if it's for space reasons, I think you need to run the 3rd of this, purely because the first effect in the mirror is surprisingly relevant.
Draw power.
It's not draw power, it's the fact you can keep recycling Stormforth or Tenacity or your cards, so you constantly have plays, whereas I found the one mirror match I played, I ran out of resources really quickly, and then I did eventually get the 3rd copy, and then was able to start recycling, but it was too late as my opponent had it first. My opponent was the national champ.
So the whole deck is just pretty much recyclable.
Yeah, the whole deck is. Escalation is actually a tank card because obviously they played Mega Thestalos, I said earlier, but I did Escalation Mega Caius once, and I Escalation Karaz a couple of times.
So would you say that Escalation and Thestalos are your tech cards?
No, they're not tech, they're just... Basically, if I'm siding this out 9 times out of 10, I will side out Thestalos, because the pair... They go together so well, but Escalation, I think, is not mandatory. You can get away without it. I've played without it, but having tested it, I think it is very, very strong. Just the plays it allows you to, even as a one-off.
Was it good in the mirror?
I didn't see it in the mirror. I saw it against Cosmo. I saw it against 1 Pepe. I saw it against... Christ, what else did I see against? I saw it against the Odd Eyes Magician as well, because I would have done the play where I used the tech in here to destroy him, but there was just no need.
Obviously, no extra deck.
Yeah. So, 2 Focking for the mirror. 3 is too many. So much too many, because you'll just side out 1 Mega Monarch and maybe 1 Karaz. But if you can get this out over 2-9, they do not have like Forbidden Chalice or any way to target out this, you lose. I mean, obviously, there's a guy who's playing siding Morale Attack, but like you're not going to face artifacts very often.
Yeah, and good old me decided, like, you can have them.
Yeah. 1 Zaborg. This is the tech I was talking about. Like escalating this out in their opponent's turn, just to wreck their extra deck. It's more there just as a domain, another domain type card. Because even though Domain prevents the summon from the extra deck, this destroys their extra deck. Yeah, okay, you have to get itself to get the full effect, but I honestly found it the most relevant card on the side. Like, the one time I resolved it, my opponent just scooped because I got rid of 2 Ignistas, the Dianosta, both the Nodens. What else did I get rid of? I got rid of like a load of stuff. I got rid of his Emerald and that Beast, so he just had no plays the following turn. Double Fiend for the not for the mirror, ironically, just for Cosmo.
Really? I thought you said Majesty was good in the mirror.
Majesty was good in the mirror. I thought it was, and then I realised that this is the best card in the deck. So in the mirror, Stormforth just shits all over it. 4 hand traps, 2 Maxi, 2 Veiler. I subbed him in a couple of times. I drew him a couple of times. 2 Ugly Chalice. I want to get some other rarity of them, but these were cheap. Like, cheaper than the common. But this card really helped me in my game 2 in time versus Ollie, because he goes summon Edia, and I just had Chalice, and I just sort of smacked him out from there, which was my draw. 3 Twin Twisters. I drew it when I needed it. I drew 2, which was awesome against Cosmo. I drew 2. Then I think I went Twin Twister both your back row. Chains Call of the Haunted, brings back a Dark Destroyer, dies, gets another ship. I Stormforth and summon Majesty's Fiend, he scoops. So. And the last card was Roigeki, which I sided in once and never bloody drew. But it was good. Like, the theory is, if you're going in second, you side this in just to deal with their board. Like, it's a one card out to their board. But I never really sided it in. But I think I sided it in once, and it was okay. Possibly would take it out, but again, I don't know. I'm going to be testing for Euros because this is probably exactly going to take Euros. Overall,
should it not get wrecked by badness?
I don't think it will. I mean, like, the only things they can hit, realistically, if they hit the teleport, this is the only card that hits their consistency.
They might not hit teleport because of the psychic stuff that's coming out in the movie pack.
Also, because of the Gold Series. Like, they're not going to hit it because they want to sell the
unless
Gold
they
Series.
Unless they hit it after Gold Series.
They'd have to hit it after Gold Series, but before Euros. And it literally depends on the mana. Like, I've got a couple of other decks in mind, but this is honestly a very non-linear deck when you get down to the technicalities of making plays. And I bricked over 6 rounds, which is what, if you say going 2-0 every game, that's about 12 games. I only bricked twice. I had 2 brick hands, which weren't even brick hands, because like, I was going second once against Ollie's Magician, and I just drew the Monarch and proceeded to go.
So, all in all, good event.
Good event, yeah. Well,
and you were happy with the performance of the deck?
A few things I may change, but other than that, I think it's pretty
What are the
solid.
things that you might change?
I might change the Roigeki in the side, I might change the Megazaborg, and I might change the Caius. I might take Caius out to run either a third Karaz, because I found myself sometimes wanting the third Karaz just to cycle, but when you draw it, it's not necessary. It's not a card you want to draw, so I think 2's fine. The only other thing, I may take out Megazaborg. It's good in theory and fun, but I mean, I don't know, I might take it. It depends on what the format shapes up to be as whether I run it or not. I might take it out.
Fair enough. So, any shout-outs or last thoughts?
No, not really. I enjoyed the deck, and honestly, for, 30 quid, you can make yourself a fairly decent deck. So.
Well, 30 quid for the 3 structure decks, then you got to add the Caius and stuff.
You've got the main things you've got to have are just Karazes, which, they're expensive, but getting 2 Karaz and 3 starter decks is still less than it's going to be to play Pepe, Mermail, and
Cosmo,
like
until
the
series.
reprint, but you don't know how much the
but I don't expect that
it's
they're
not
going to be
a lot,
that expensive.
No. Like, it's sort of a budget deck. I mean, okay, like Red Layer's a bit, but you can afford to play it without Red Layer. Like, I only used Red Layer about twice. Normally it was just added to hand and then discarded, like either for hand size because you draw so many cards.
I mean, you can play standard Monarchs for quite cheap.
Yeah, standard Monarchs, I wouldn't say are better. I'd say standard Monarchs do brick more, but if you take the time to actually tech your build, you can probably get away with like those 5 spaces for the teleports. You can replace with things like Upstart Goblin to boost consistency. You can also replace them with maybe hand traps or like the third Karaz and stuff, just to get more draws going to get to your place. So at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. I think this build's a little less vulnerable to things like Veiler and Chalice, which are actually surprisingly popular.
Yeah.
I got my ED Veiler at least 3 times throughout the day. I was like, right, well, I'm glad I'm playing Quantums.
Yeah. Alright then, guys, that's the deck profile. subscribe and like and all that jazz, and we'll catch you later.
See you later.
Bye.